Coming up on Juice and Java, an update on the natural disasters wreaking havoc in Central America.
Hannah Butler is here from first-year players to tell us what show they will be presenting in the spring.
And Jamie Vinnick will join us in studio to talk about a new organization on campus, Women in Leadership.
All that and more coming up on Juice and Java.
Good morning, I'm Mia Rossi.
And I'm Rebecca Thornburg. Thanks for starting your morning with us. Let's start things off with the squeeze. Mexico is reeling after a second powerful earthquake hit the country this morning. A 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit the country exactly 100 years after the deadliest quake in its history last week. The quake has crippled the capital, Mexico City, where dozens of buildings have collapsed. More than 200 people are dead, and search and rescue is still underway to recover those still alive. The country had initially offered to help the state of Texas with Hurricane Harvey relief. Officials are now saying Mexico needs to focus its energy on helping the victims of their own natural disaster.
And as we were talking about before, this is the second earthquake in Mexico in 12 days, so extremely devastating for them.
And Mexico City is the most populous city in the world. There are so many people to make sure they're still here and they're alive, and hopefully that many people to help as well.
Exactly, and obviously our thoughts are with them as well, and all Syracuse University students are affected. In other weather-related news, Americans across the nation are unable to contact family members in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria hit the island. The deadly storm made landfall on Wednesday as a Category 4 hurricane. Puerto Rico was hit with nearly 40 inches of rain within 24 hours. The entire region is completely out of power, and officials say electricity may not be restored for months. 15 people are dead because of damage caused by the storm. Hurricane Maria also affected the Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, and part of the Bahamas.
This is just another tragedy. I know many Syracuse students are from Puerto Rico and have tried to contact their family members to make sure they're okay.
I was actually in class the other day with a friend of mine who's from Puerto Rico, and she hadn't heard from her family in 2 days, and while we were in class, she actually got a call from her sister, so she was happy. She was happy about that, but was upset after talking to her as well because she said that it just is not a good situation over there.
The fifth largest storm the U.S. has ever experienced.
And they're obviously still recovering from the hurricane before that as well.
Irma, yes. And a different weather storm. President Trump set off a different type of storm with the speech to the United Nations Assembly on Tuesday. The president warned that the U.S. would completely destroy North Korea if it came down to it. The threat comes just a few days after North Korea launched a missile that flew past Japan. Trump gave North Korean leader Kim Jong-un the name Rocket Man, starting his own words that Rocket Man is on a suicide mission. The president also criticized nations for still trading with North Korea and warned them against the becoming bystander of history. North Korea's foreign minister responded to Trump's speech by comparing the president's threat to a dog barking. This is just so middle school, I feel like.
It's another episode in what is become sort of a saga between the United States and North Korea.
And Kim Jong-un also called Trump the madman across the water. So it's just back and forth banter of name calling, and it just needs to stop. I think there's so many more important issues to be set than name calling, and that's what's making the news.
I know people were kind of hoping that this UN meeting would be a chance for Trump to show himself as maybe more stable in his speech. It hasn't been the case, but we'll see what happens next. In other news, two seemingly opposite worlds are colliding as the healthcare debate heats up. Late night show host Jimmy Kimmel has become a prominent voice opposing the Graham-Cassidy bill, the latest Obamacare repeal attempt. Kimmel's son required 3 open heart surgeries before his first birthday, which in most insurance policies would have already exceeded the coverage limit. This has prompted politicians to create what is called the Kimmel test, making sure situations like these do not happen. Senator Cassidy has assured that this bill does pass the test, but Kimmel says it absolutely does not. Kimmel delivered 2 emotional speeches begging senators to think of people like his son when supporting the bill.
And the bill, what it does really is it gives more power to the states to create their own health care. And that's what Kimmel is saying when he says that millions of people won't be covered because states have the power to make it their own. And I just think it's a great platform for him to talk about this huge issue, and many people are just going to become more aware of it as well.
And I think it's important that Kimmel's talking about this specifically because he's reaching a younger audience who may not be paying attention to the harder news outlets that are covering this. They're turning to Kimmel at night for their entertainment, but now they're getting some important news about the issues that are affecting the country now, and it's good for him to use that platform.
Exactly. In other entertainment news, the iconic Rolling Stone magazine is for sale. The 50-year-old music magazine is being sold by its parent company, Warner Media. The decision to sell the controlling stake in the magazine was made by the founder's son, Gus Warner. As a result, the financial pressures, last year Warner Media sold its 2 other magazines, US Weekly and Men's Journal. Rolling Stone has been harshly criticized in recent years after the company published a faulty story about an unproven gang rape at the University of Virginia. The owners hope to find a buyer that understands Rolling Stone's mission and has lots of money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a senior in college now. I still remember freshman year when that article came out. I read the whole thing. I know people who did reports on it for their journalism classes, so it was a big deal, and I'm not surprised that it has sort of led to problems for them.
Yeah, I agree. I just think was a failure to journalism, and I think this new ownership will kind of bring back what this Rolling Stone is. It had many investigative stories and also the culture of rock, and hopefully turn over a new leaf.
Yeah, well, in other music news, we're having some exciting music here at Syracuse. Legendary singer Paul McCartney is coming tonight. The concert is taking place in the Carrier Dome here at SU. This is McCartney's first ever appearance in Syracuse after canceling a planned event 20 years ago. The city has been preparing for weeks to make sure that the concert goes well. Venue Manager Pete Sala has ordered enough water for the audience not to get dehydrated. The city is also expecting heavy traffic delays due to the concert. The Syracuse Police Department is asking people to arrive around 3 hours early. Parking around the dome will require a permit, so concertgoers are encouraged to park in the Skytop lot instead. Doors will open at 6 p.m.
I've seen so many parents and older people here on campus just to watch this concert, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it's a great event for, it's something that connects with students and parents, and also outside of the university, the Syracuse community, it's a really big name that's coming in to the city to perform.
Legendary rock star, formerly with the Beatles, and he's going to sing, I think, some of those classics.
Yeah, and I remember my freshman year, Billy Joel came, and my dorm that year was right by the dome, so I saw everyone going there, so I'm sure tonight, it seems to be getting even more hype, so it should be really exciting.
Just a fun event for everyone in the Syracuse area. And after the break, Hannah Butler is in studio.
We'll tell you all about SU's entirely student-run theater organization and what show they have in store for the spring.
Stay with us.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Back to Juice and Java.
Hannah Butler is here to tell us about the first-year players. Hi, Hannah. Welcome.
Thank you so much
happy.
for having me.
Yeah, of
Thanks
course.
for joining us.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you chose to have Frankenstein as the play this year?
Yeah, so we announced our show as Young Frankenstein last Sunday. There's always a big reveal where the executive board does a skit, and one by one we kind of knock off shows until the last show standing is the one that we announce we'll be producing. Over the summer, we have an executive board of 13 people, and all 13 people pitch 3 shows that they think could be a good FYP show for the upcoming year. And then my co-producer, Patri Suro, and I, we mixed them all up, and we sent every person on the executive board 3 shows they didn't pitch. And you basically have to write this big research report on those 3 shows. And we get back to school, and we have 39 shows, that means, because 13 people pitch 3 shows each. And in one night, we take that down to 15 shows, and then we take those 15 shows the next night down to 6 shows.
Wow.
And then we announce those 6 shows to the campus and our staff of over 130 people, and that's really exciting because then they give us their opinions and we pick one.
So what is it about, or was it about Young Frankenstein that led you guys to choose that this year?
Yeah, well, first off, it's a Mel Brooks musical, and the movie was so hilarious. And that's something that FYP really wanted to focus on, because FYP is about the experience, not only for our first year and transfer cast, crew, and pit, but also for the staff and for the audience. And it's such a funny show, but it also has such good themes. It's going to be an overall great experience. It's uplifting, a lot about being yourself, whether you're a human or monster, embracing what you want to give to the world, and we want to bring that message to Syracuse.
Awesome. And how are you going to promote the show around campus?
Yeah, well, our workshops start in the fall, and then we'll actually have auditions and interviews for our cast, crew, and pit in the spring. So it's going to be a lot of comedy. We really want to capitalize on the humor of it, but also it's kind of an edgier show than like one we did last year, like Big Fish. And we want to capitalize on that fun, that humor, and the satirical comedy of it. And so maybe in the spring we'll have, you know, our monster running around campus, passing out tickets.
So now that you've chosen the show, what's the next step?
Yeah, so we do...
Or announce the show.
Yeah, so we do workshops all throughout this month. The first one's October 9th, and it's just a general interest meeting. But it's a lot about getting first semester, our freshmen and transfer potential cast, crew, and pit excited about it, because in the spring, that's the people we hope come out and join our first year group that will be the people actually putting on the show. So it's a lot of public relations and marketing towards that group of people, and then in the spring towards the campus for everyone to come and see the show.
And I've heard a lot of buzz about it already. It's been really hyped up. And have you experienced any other things people are saying about it on campus?
Yeah, I hear people are really, really excited, which makes me really excited. I know the movie, the original film that came out, was very well received. Mel Brooks is obviously a comedy genius, and I think just having his name attached to the show is going to make it a big buzz around campus because he's so funny.
And can you tell us about what your role is, and your co-producer? How, you know, is that different from roles you've had in the past, and what your plans are?
Yeah, so Patri and I, we are the co-producers of the organization. It's an organization of over 130 people, and all of those people have some hand in making the show a success. And so our e-board, you know, is comprised of like the director, the music director, the choreographer, our art director, stage manager, assistant producers, finance director, PR, kind of the big categories that need to make the show run, and then each of those people run their own team. And what's really exciting about that is the people like myself who got to be in the show as a freshman or a transfer student,
get to give that experience to someone else, whether that's through costume design or makeup design or being the aesthetic assistant or creating the graphics, and getting to kind of get that experience and get to do your show and then give that experience to other people is why the staff keep coming back.
Yeah, well, that's so exciting. You probably have so much more to do.
And we're looking forward to seeing the show and
so
seeing how
excited.
things turn out. And thank you again for joining us.
Of course, thank you guys.
When we come back, Jamie Vinnick from Women in Leadership is in studio.
And we'll learn all about how this new club is empowering young women on campus.
Stay with us.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation.
Good job. That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're constantly
Good luck with
ignoring me.
everything.
Thank you. As active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Welcome back to Juice and Java.
Today we're joined by Jamie Vinnick, co-founder of Women in Leadership, a new group on campus designed to empower women from a variety of entrepreneurial fields across campus. Jamie, welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
Thanks for being here. And so first of all, since you're a new club, we just want to hear, what is Women in Leadership? I know the name kind of gives it away, but a little more in depth about what it is and how you brought it to Syracuse.
Yeah, so my freshman year and a lot of girls on campus were having a really difficult time branching out, meeting other girls on campus, and so this was a great opportunity to help connect more women on campus who aren't necessarily on their floor in the same major as them. So it gives them the opportunity to network with them as well as networking with professional women in the workforce.
Awesome. And what is the club going to be all about? What are you guys going to do? What events are you going to have to make this club great?
Yeah, so we just held our first meeting. We had about 150 women, but we're looking to grow it. And so the goal of the club is really to inspire and empower other women. And so we're going to be bringing in professional women in a wide array of different fields, in entrepreneurship, finance, in the television field. And so our first meeting coming up, we actually have a CNN anchor who's going to be speaking to our members.
That's awesome.
And this Stanford MBA alum who is just co-founding a new company. And so one of the goals is really to help women gain exposure to the professional world.
Which is an important part of
Huge.
And you get I guess guest speakers cover a wide variety of majors and interests and.
Yeah, so we wanted to make this as inclusive as possible. I know that there are some clubs specific to certain majors, so that is part of why we're bringing in and touching a wide array of different fields. So we are covering pretty much the majority of bases. We're covering people who are interested in television and news reporting, and then as well as business and in the nonprofit sector, in politics and government. And so
you have a trip to New York coming up?
Yes, we do. So as a way to network and also shadow other women in the field, to really see what it's like to materialize before our eyes, we wanted to go down to New York City and network with a bunch of women, most of whom are actually alum, and see what they're doing in the city, see how they're utilizing their degree, how maybe they're not utilizing their degree, and how success is not linear. And so it's great to see how they were able to jump through different career paths and end up where they are.
And was there one certain alumni that kind of inspired you to start this club?
Not one particular one, but definitely a culmination of many. So I've spoken to quite a few alum. I'm sure many other people have, and it's really interesting to see that a lot of people don't end up in the same place where they start. But a lot of the inspiration actually was this whole idea of empowering women and being supportive of one another, creating a community that fosters the support. I always leave this question with people, is that if you're applying to your top job or university or whatever it may be, and two people are also applying, similarly qualified, they get in and you don't, would there be a particular person you'd resent more, perhaps envy more? And the answer is usually the same, no, the person who's less deserving. But if we slightly tweak that and changed it to a man is applying and a woman is applying, the men's answers were almost similar in answer. The women said that I would probably envy the woman more.
That's incredible.
Thank you so much for joining us, and it's so nice to hear about it. When we come back, Matt Liberman is here to give us a Syracuse sports update.
Don't change that channel.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Welcome back to Juice and Java.
We are here in studio with Matt to go over some of the sports that are happening at Syracuse. So today's big football game, what's the expectation for tonight?
I don't think there are great expectations for tonight. I think a few days ago when LSU star running back Darius Geis was not supposed to play, I think that the expectations were much better for SU, but now he is slated to play, so I don't think it will be a close game down in Death Valley.
And how is the team looking so far? I know we've only had one game, but what are your expectations for the whole rest of the season?
Well, for the rest of the season, it's really tough because they are in the ACC, which is probably the toughest conference in America right now. So far, I think SU is about where we expected them to be. I mean, they're 2-1 right now, coming off a win against Central Michigan. They lost to Middle Tennessee State, but Middle Tennessee State is a good team. People don't realize that. They made a bowl game last year. They have an All-American wide receiver. They are a very talented team, and they're coached well. So I think SU is right about where we expected them to be.
And what about SU soccer? We know they're a popular team as well on campus. How are they doing so far?
They've actually been pretty underwhelming so far. When you look at it compared to last year and 2 years ago, there's a big talent discrepancy compared to the Final Four team and the 2016 team. They have some really young, talented freshmen, but they haven't quite grown into their role yet on the team. And so when you look at them, they're coming off 3 losses in a row, which hasn't happened in a long time, and especially 3 home losses, which were all games they were expected to win. So it's very tough right now to be an SU soccer fan.
What are some big games that they have coming up or throughout the season?
Well, the ACC is probably also the best conference for soccer, so looking at games such as Wake Forest, Notre Dame, rematches against Louisville, North Carolina as well, all conference rivals that they really need to squeak out some wins.
That's great, and Syracuse has so much pride in their sports. And is there anything else happening around the sports area that's really big?
Well, the two teams on campus that aren't as popular but are always more dominant are cross country and field hockey. Field hockey is currently leading the country in goals allowed. They've only allowed 2 goals the entire season. They have 8 shutouts, which is incredibly impressive. And then cross country, coming off a national championship 2 years ago, as is field hockey. They probably should have both won it last year, but they're both in great position to win the national championship again this year in their respective sports.
That's great.
Do you have any plans to watch the LSU game?
I'm actually, I'll be going to Paul McCartney tonight.
Okay. So are you going to DVR it, or are you just going to get the updates on your phone?
No, I'm definitely going to DVR it so that I can watch it afterwards.
That's great. So exciting.
Is soccer playing this weekend?
SU soccer is not playing this weekend. They are playing next week. They're slated for a game early in the week, so nice matchup for them. But they really need to get back on the road. Coming off 3 straight losses, it's very tough right now.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Matt, and learn a little more about sports.
Yep. And coming up, Claudia Bellofatto is in studio to tell us all about the circus and has yet to leave the fairgrounds.
Stay with us.
Bell go off in school. I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
What are you, superheroes?
Just 4 brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
State Fair may be over, but there's one act still hanging around.
Reporter Claudia Bellofatto took a trip to the fair to see what's keeping this act in town.
That's right, guys. I got to meet a family who gave a new meaning to life on the road. If you take a trip to Syracuse State Fairgrounds today, you'll see a lot of empty space. But if you look in the right direction, you'll see that you're certainly not alone. More than a dozen animals are stranded at the fair because of Hurricane Irma. But it's not just the animals who are stuck here.
I went to school just because I had to. I already knew. I mean, I told everybody, I said, what are you going to be? I said, I'm already on what I want to be.
Serge Jr. is the 5th generation owner of Corona Circus, a circus based out of Florida.
You know, my sisters are here, and my little brother, and my kids, and my mother-in-law. Everybody's here.
They eat, sleep, travel, and perform together all year long, and they have been for quite some time.
We were here for 30 years. People's watched our kids grow up here. And people that came back while we were performed here and said, good to have you back.
And that family tradition so far seems promising for the future. Do you guys want to take over the circus when your dad's done, when you guys are older?
Yes. Yeah? Yeah.
Serge Sr. says they expect to be back on tour early this week. And as they say in the circus business, the show must go on. And it's a good thing they'll be back on the road soon because it looks like some of the performers are hungry for attention.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Mia Rossi.
And I'm Rebecca Thornburg. Tune in next week.